TAPI 5. Skyfall and Shadows. The roar of the plasma thrusters shook the night sky over Kyoto. Below, the helicopter's pilot panicked, desperately banking the aircraft to avoid the shadow of the sleek supersonic jet cutting through the storm clouds. Inside the cockpit, Arnob's hands were steady on the flight controls. The holographic HUD reflected in his eyes, tracking the precise spiritual lock on the iron cage dangling beneath the chopper. Arnob, if we shoot down that helicopter, the cage falls off the cliff and Maya's spirit core will shatter. Rayan yelled from the co-pilot seat, clutching the armrests as the jet pulled a tight banking maneuver. "We aren't shooting it down," Arnob said coldly. "We're boarding." He flipped a switch on the control panel, locking the jet's flight path into an automated hovering loop right above the helicopter. Shinka form, tactical gear. Arnob didn't wait for the transformation to fully complete before unbuckling. As he leaped out of the open cockpit hatch into the freezing rain, the jet dissolved behind him into a torrent of flowing azure light. The light enveloped his body mid-fall, hardening into a sleek, high-tech tactical suit with a reinforced grappling system, while the remaining energy coalesced back into the razor-sharp Shinka Blade in his right hand. He slammed onto the roof of the helicopter with a heavy thud, the rain lashing against his visor. Inside the cabin, two cloaked cultists looked up in sheer horror as the ceiling metal buckled. Arnob drove the Shinka Blade straight down through the roof. The mystical metal didn't damage the mechanical parts of the chopper, but its spiritual wave instantly severed the dark energy maintaining the cultists' consciousness. They collapsed instantly. With a single fluid motion, Arnob swung over the side of the chopper, dropping onto the steel frame of the dangling cage. Through the rune-engraved bars, Maya looked up at him. Her silver, translucent form was faint, flickering like a flame in the wind. The heavy black magic chains bound to her wrists were slowly draining her essence. Her telepathic voice reached his mind, weak and trembling. "You shouldn't have come. It's a trap." "I don't leave debt unpaid," Arnob replied. He raised the Shinka Blade and brought it down against the dark chains. Clang! A shockwave of pure blue light shattered the black magic bindings into dust. The iron cage doors burst open, and Maya floated out, her form instantly stabilizing as she drew near the pure energy radiating from the blade. Before she could drift into the stormy wind, Arnob reached out and caught her hand. For the first time, her hand didn't pass through his. The energy of the Shinka Blade acted as a bridge, allowing physical touch between a living human and a pure spirit. Maya looked at their joined hands, a soft, astonished light blooming in her eyes. "Rayan, drop the winch!" Arnob called into his comms. 100 feet above, Rayan, now operating a high-tech Arnobics recovery, drone lowered a heavy extraction cable. Arnob hooked Maya and himself to the harness, severed the cage's support line with his blade, and signaled for pickup just as the unmanned helicopter spun out of control, crashing harmlessly into the empty mountain valley below. An hour later, the private jet was cruising at 30,000 feet, heading back toward Bangladesh. Inside the plush, ambient-lit cabin of the FAA Global Holding aircraft, the atmosphere was quiet. Rayan was fast asleep on one of the leather loungers, exhausted from the night's chaos. Arnob sat near the window, staring out at the ocean of clouds illuminated by the moon. Sitting across from him, sitting on the edge of a seat without pressing her weight down, was Maya. Her glow had softened into a warm, gentle silver. "Thank you," she whispered, her real voice melodic and human echoing softly in the quiet cabin. "You risked everything for someone you barely know. You saved my life on those stairs when you had no reason to," Arnob said, turning to look at her. "Besides, I wanted to know who you were." Maya looked down at her hands, a melancholic expression gracing her ethereal features. "I don't remember everything about who I was when I was alive. But I know why the Charmer wants me. My soul carries the location of the Dragon Pearl, the ultimate catalyst he needs to control every spiritual entity on Earth. He won't touch you again," Arnob said firmly. "My business, my team, my resources, everything FAA Global Holding built is now dedicated to tearing his syndicate down." Maya looked up, meeting his eyes. A genuine, radiant smile broke across her face. "A billionaire who fights ghosts in the dark. You really are unusual. Arnob, I just like keeping my promises," Arnob replied, a subtle smile touching his lips. He tapped his watch, watching the blue runes fade into a quiet standby mode. The Shinka Blade was secure, Maya was safe, and for the first time, he had a clear target in sight. The snake charmer thought he was hunting a helpless spirit, But he had just declared war on a man who owned the world in the light and ruled it in the dark. What do you think is going to happen in the next chapter?